and now it already gives you one hero that can farm the triangle. And again, like I want to put as much emphasis as possible that just opens up the map on where you can farm. If you have a hero that can take ancients, then maybe it makes it easier for a support to fill the dead lane and get a little bit of farm there, say for a coddle, or you don't have to contest the jungle and the lanes with 3 cores that all can't farm the triangle. So always big value. And well,
I want to see this hero in the off lane.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it would be very good versus Sven in the lane. It'd be
Good
very,
against
very
Sven
good.
in lane. I think the changes to him have really mounted up, and now he's, in my eyes, an incredibly strong core. For people that aren't aware, the big changes to him were most notably to the shard. Now it gives an additional zombie being spawned every single time it hits someone, and also it reduces the cooldown on Flesh Golem by 30 seconds. So normally it's 125, reduces it down to 95. The duration is 40 seconds, so it's looking really good there already. And then the other part of that is that in 7.29, I believe, they changed decay so that it does double damage to creeps. So the 20 damage that you get at level 1 goes to 40, so on and so forth. And then, so if you've got it maxed out, base damage 110, you're dealing 220 damage to creeps. And then if you get the level 10 talent, which gives another 50 decay damage, you can very quickly clear out creep waves. You can even go for things like a Vanguard into a Radiance and then just be this farming beast. And you can solo Roche once it's 20 minutes as well on top of that, which is kind of nuts.
Huh. Okay. Do you like the Storm? It's not the worst.
No.
I mean,
no. Is it? It's not the worst.
It's not the worst. Great. The quad matchup. Sorry, the quad matchup in the lane is not the greatest.
It's bad for Storm.
It's not the greatest. You can catch up in the jungle. That's still the nice thing about the Storm Spirit, that you can get that farm. Not a huge fan of the matchup versus Earthshaker. We saw again FY when he played it versus Emo Storm that it was very, very difficult to play into. I feel like if Storm's ahead, then it's great. But if Earthshaker is at least keeping up with how he should be as a position 4 in regards to his timings, then he can provide big, big issues for that initial stun. And then maybe Quap, if she's snowballing, could have an Orchid follow-up. But it's not a hero to kill Tombstone, and
10 seconds remaining.
Which is...
I don't really have any heroes to kill Tombstone at this point. I mean, the one positive that I'm seeing for the Storm Spirit is that it is a solid target to put the Frost Shield onto, so it provides a lot more crowd control. You get some vision. You might be able to clip the Earthshaker and prevent him from Blink echoing into a team fight, and any kind of slows on the backline is just gold for a Sven.
Okay. I like that pick a lot. You enable your Medusa, so now it feels like your late game carry has a better steroid with the minus armor. Roshan taking potential, which they were lacking. Another way to initiate. You never want to rely on the Earthshaker to be the solo initiator. And we saw the lane previously was pretty good. As well versus Slaughter versus Sven. They're looking for their 3 here on Aster. They themselves... What are we looking for?
Are they? Could be a 3 pudge. Never know.
3-4 flex. What do you feel like they need to tick off with this last pick?
A lot, to be honest. Like, for me, it feels like they're lacking a little bit of damage to be able to take care of this Medusa. You've got some very mobile heroes that are going to be able to avoid a Lich Chain Frost as well, so I don't think Lich is going to do as much damage as you might normally expect in these team fights.
Wind Ranger at your service.
Wind Ranger, huh? I mean, what is this? They're just going to try and find the Queen of Pain and lock him down? No, it's a 3 Wind Ranger.
Okay. Can they snowball that? Can they snowball that lane? Shackle into hook. In range.
I'm not feeling it. I mean, everything about Team Aster's draft I don't like. but it's Aster, you know, and they're playing within the Chinese region, and they're confident, they're feeling themselves a little bit, so it's still hard to go away from them.
They do not have a lot of magic damage on Aster.Aries. If XXS actually has a decent lane, then he will get hard to kill. It's a position 3, so how much farm priority are you gonna get? You're really worried about Queen of Pain bursts you through that. That's really your only worry this game on the Wind Ranger. I
think you'd go into a Diffusal Blade just to try and get onto the Medusa and get that focus fire running.
Very much could. Yeah, very much. So I like that they have gone for at least an intel range tier as a position 3. That's the best way to lane into the Undying. Just one, you don't want to be strength because the decay is just ridiculous. Of course, taking away your natural attribute. And also, a melee hero really doesn't trade as effectively versus the Undying. And Wind Ranger's got great mobility, so you can kind of play the distance, get in and out from this slow Undying hero. So I like how they've, at least in that regard for the lane, we'll see how that can play out, but I'm always a big fan of at least like your ranged agi or a ranged intel to lane into the Undying.
Sure. I'm also thinking as well, like, they don't really have any of these heroes on Aster.Aries' side that are going to dispel Windrun. Like, the only one that's probably eventually built into the Nullifier could be the Slaughter and maybe the Queen of Pain, so can even afford to go that level 15 power shot damage talent. You don't really need undispellable Windrun.
Alright, well, we get to see our first pudge of the other group stages here, so this will be... I'm still yet to really see the pudge 4. Well, I actually have not seen the pudge 4 as of yet, so we'll see how this new field to the hero is with the instant kill.
Do you think it's going to be the first and last pudge, though?
Well, if he's got a horrible game, then there'll probably be another like TI team that will experiment with it. I feel like they're it always looks on paper, it's so enticing. You know, Pudge saying you can one-hit neutrals, like who isn't gonna want to play that?
Aster.Aries, a little.
That's.
I really don't know about this. Like, they could have just sat back and waited.
Okay, well,
See you later, Siamese Cat.
They themselves are going to give up first blood, and he even eats the Fairy Fire, and I mean, that enables now White Album to get the kill. And that's right by the 0 minute mark too, so maybe they can't contest this? Yeah, 1-8 will... Oh no, it was actually Baku that picked it up, but I think it was 3 for Aster, and it was. I mean...
That's just a mistake of mine. Are they changing up these lanes a little bit? Is this a tri-lane to start with? Borax going bot with Monet? Avoiding the Slardar lane, of course, is a very smart thing to do, but see what they're able to do. And it is looking like a tri-lane to start with from Aster.Aries as well. Maybe predicting that this might be the case.
How do you feel like a Pudge in a tri-lane? I feel like this hero does nothing unless he lands hooks.
Yeah, but he's got the Lich joining him, so you'll at least be able to have that slow. You've, of course, got the Sven stun to be able to assist with all that. I don't know why Aster.Aries made that movement around the 0 minute timing. They could have just sat back and waited, you know? You want Aster to just come up to the runes because, you know, you've got Earthshaker stun, you've got Mystic Snake, you had Decay available. There was plenty that could have helped take out. And sure, one person might get hooked, but you're definitely going to get a kill in return.
I really think Aster.Aries win this tri-lane. I mean, Undying in a tri-lane is one of the most broken supports in that matchup, and he's against 2 strength heroes too. So...
Look at them just running in a little triangle here, just kind of baiting out. Come on, use the Decay, try and get it onto multiple targets. He eventually does hit it onto 2, but that's with the help of Baku. I don't think he's going to put himself in that position just on his own.
They're going to have to combo up the Stormhammer with the hook if they need to get kills really early on. Because you're now leeching a lot of, like, Aster, honestly, it has to be said that both teams are just keeping 3 heroes here, so no one's level 2 at the moment at all. So, we'll see. I really think Siamese...
They might hit it sooner, although I like the positioning from Siamese Cat, making sure... Oh, they're going to get a kill onto Latham? No. His positioning, making sure he was next to the creep wave, so you're not going to get that easy hook on Borax. Only just hitting up onto the level 2 now on everyone except for Borax.
Denied!
Oh, never mind, Siamese Cat as well.
Meanwhile, we'll get a chance to look at mid. It does look like White Album's having a pretty good time at the moment. He's 10-4 compared to just hit 10-4 on the Queen of Pain. So a matchup that on paper feels a little bit more Queen of Pain favored is at least looking good for White Album.
Waddling towards... He's just acting like a Mirana now.
Classic.
Is old mate Borax. Just, at least he's got the clarity to be able to sustain a little bit better, but hooking those big creeps. Getting straight back to lane.
They do have this small camp. I don't know if Monet was actually in range for that range creep experience there, but Siamese Cat, this could be our second kill, although he gets a massive bonus health coming through from the decay, but again, Baku just a bit too late on the fissure. Now they can turn to deal with Ulu. They have the hook back up and available. Baku's going to try and put his body on the line here. Hooks on the mark, the follow-up damage from the Storm Hammer. And without the effective health, Baku's going to be pretty careful too. 1-8 shot. Okay, Fissure, Soul. Okay, they get it both. I thought they were both going to survive there, but no. Aster.Aries at least hit back.
And yeah, that health pool is super deceptive, right? Whenever you're playing against an Undying, you're like, oh, he's got quarter HP, but isn't actually that. Oh, Borax might be in a little bit of trouble here, having to use the clarity to try and chase here on Baku. The timings are good. They could very easily get him. I like how they manipulated the creep wave, though, making sure that there was no creeps lost underneath the tower before Ulu was able to come back. And I mean, if I was Siamese Cat, I would probably look to move as far away as possible because you still are leeching a little bit away from the Deucer, which, I mean, she's only just hit level 3.
Yeah. This is at least nice, though, that the Undying does have level 3 himself. So that extra point of decay, I mean, the base damage goes up by more than double. And then just the cooldown as well feels a lot nicer to be able to spam out. Well, we get a second. How do we feel like this off lane, like both the Wind Ranger and Slardar are free farming? How do you feel like this is going to kind of set up our early game from either hero? Do you feel like there'll be more impact from the Slardar or the Wind Ranger?
I'd say more impact from the Wind Ranger because the Slardar was basically picked to counter the Sven, and it'll secure the late game. But early on, I think it's going to be Wind Ranger favored because you're still going to have that potential to make the key plays onto, for example, the Wind Ranger. Onto the Queen of Pain.
Hook. Siamese Cat. Fishable. That's a great placement from Baku. He needs a multi-man decay, I think, to bring up to a decent threshold. And, well, in fact, it's actually Monet that finds the multi-man Stormhammer. And they'll drag back Baku to his demise as well. Another 2 kills right back to Aster's favor.
And just liking their positioning, right? They're just staying as far away from the Undying as possible, making sure that they're not going to get multi-hero decayed constantly, which heavily reduces the value of putting multiple points into it. You know, the damage isn't nuts. It's just about how frequently you're able to use it.
I want to see this Queen of Painmaker rotation. It probably has to come off the back of either a Lucky Power Rune or TPing down bot. The issue is that Radiant don't have good creep equilibrium at all. They got the small camp to play with, but they haven't stacked it, so not that it's really going to help out too much with the equilibrium. And I like this from Dire, like instantly dropping the ward around the river path that would see the Queen of Pain making this rotation down if Phoenix did look to get active.
Yeah, able to just pop the clarity now. I'm sure she wants to, as well as make that rotation, not have to worry about this mid lane pushing in all that much.
All in all, though, it looks like finally our tri-lanes are about to dissolve. Medusa does have about 10 more last hits than the Sven. Which team do you feel like came ahead out of the tri-lane?
See, the net worth says that it's Aster.Aries, but the fact that this Wind Ranger's had basically a free game is still going to be a little bit of a concern to me, excuse me. Because you can make those aggressive rotations super early on, like he has actually right now onto the Slardar.
He's legitimately just tickling Slardar. Like without Javelin and now Phoenix. Jump in. They've got the Corrosive Haze. One more right click into the Sonic Wave. Not enough until the dagger will tick him out. Now they can turn to try and kill off Lenham. Unfortunately for the Slardar though, a perfect rotation from White Album is enough to keep his support alive. So a 1-for-1 and both the position 2s looking to get active there in the top lane.
The fact that he went for that attempt before picking up the javelin is an enormous mistake. You know, he had the gold for it, so just not opting to wait the however long it would have been, 15 seconds for the courier to get out to him. I think XXS, he should know better than that. Maybe just getting a little bit antsy because Lanham had made the rotation all that way to assist. Again, Lich is so strong in the early game, right? Like 1-1-5 so far, part of every single Aster kill. And you just synergize together with everything, even against the Queen of Pain and the Slardar, right? You're eventually going to be able to get the Frost Shield. The thing that I like about heroes is if they're good at every stage of the game. And it feels like, to me, Lich is that way, unless you're coming up against like some massive, like a Broodmother or some massive rat push. That's probably the only big weakness I see out of him.
Yep. Oh, Phoenix? Okay. Yeah, were you watching that?
Was it the hook that you were looking at? Or
yeah. Storm zipped in and he ate the hook. It's okay. You get him next time. It's all good. It's all good. That happens. It's a game of Dota. You win some, you lose some. You miss some hooks, you hit some hooks. Although it does feel like Pudge is quite the confidence hero. So you always want to build up that confidence. Once the that one, not so much. Siamese Cat. They get a lot of damage here from this early use of the God Strength, and I'll kill off the Undying. Now they want to try and turn to deal with the Tombstone. Plus 125 gold. Ooh, just shy. The tip again from Borax.
Yeah, again, the biggest change for mine with the Lich was this Sinister Gaze, right? Like, reducing its mana cost all the way down to 80 at all levels. The increased cast range is amazing. One value point just gets you so far.
Yep. And it's pretty much an... it's like an instant stun, right? Maybe the cast point's like 0.2 seconds, which is pretty much nothing. There's Baku again. Bye-bye. It is instant, not like the 0.2. Okay, well, like, that's even better. Like, you see the emphasis on instant stuns and instant lockdown. Like, we legitimately just saw all of last patch in the Lion, and pretty much how he was able to do so much with that. And not even the Lion, I mean the Dragonite too, for that matter. So, you know, I feel like we're really going to see this hero get picked up a tremendous amount.
Yep. Even little things like previously it was a lot easier to dodge out the Chain Frost, but they increased its projectile speed by 200. I love the fact that, you know, you can just max out your Frost Shield pretty early on if you're against heavy physical damage. Mid lane, is Siamese Cat in a bit of trouble? Looks like he is. And then you can just go into the Frost Shield damage reduction as well. So what's that? It becomes minus 70% physical damage. Kind of nutty.
And that's on towers too. Yep. That's not just heroes, that's also on towers. Can heavily mitigate a push, can help shove out lanes. Yeah, it feels like he's
lasts for 6 seconds. You can make it last for 10 when you get to level 20, which honestly it feels like a lot of games are going a little bit later, or at least the supports are getting some decent levels. And then of course replacing what was in my eyes a pretty useless talent in, I think it was 100 attack damage at level 15 with an extra 0.5 seconds on Sinister Gaze.
Yep.
It's huge. Like, such a long duration stun that you can even convert into going into an Ags for. And you can also cast spells when you've got that Ag Sinister Gaze. So you could suck in 5 heroes potentially, cast your Chain Frost, cast your Frost Blast, and just deal a ton of damage, even as a pos 5.
So what do you feel like the weaknesses are then to the Lich? Like, do you feel like he maybe can get heavily... Oh, actually, hold that thought. Baku. There are some TPs coming down, but unfortunately for him, he can't get the stick or the fissure off. But Monet is incredibly deep, and it looks like he doesn't have a way to escape.
Vision.
He should be able to find the crush into the burst of damage from Phoenix there. And this is a hero that does have no joke of physical damage, or at least right-click damage, at a stage where it even gets amplified from the Corrosive Haze. So, and when you compare these two together, it's definitely going to be a lot of damage. They are looking for Siamese Cat though, XXS. has to lead to set up for the hook. Instead, Borax is not even going to try and go for the hook. He'll no messing around, just charge in full with the Dismember.
There's that Chain Frost
bouncing back and forth. It's not doing a whole lot of damage here, but mainly just slowing up them from gap closing on the Pudge. That is still a big kill to pick up. He was a 3 times killing streak, so 310 gold for Ulu. You'll take that any day of the week.
I mean, we might feel like that wasn't doing too much damage, but it burned through a lot of Medusa's mana pool, nearly dealing 1200 damage just from a single Lich ulti. So he did a fair amount, and you can do it from a somewhat safe position. Just on your point before, what are the big weaknesses for Lich? I would say his base armor is kind of crappy, 1.5, and his movement speed isn't as fast as some of these other supports like Keeper, the like Monet. They're gonna run into him.
They still don't have Echo.
He's got his boys though.
Does have his boys indeed, as White Album. He showed up to protect the Goon, and now Phoenix as well. Another beautiful hook as Borax brings it back into the meat grinder. There's the Pudge 3, 1, and 6, and continuing to protect the stacks they are on Aster. And one thing I want to bring up real quick is the fact that we saw the Sven out of the tri lane was looking at some stage he was very, very low on the CS. But the thing that this tri lane enabled from Aster, because of their on Dire, they were able to play on the bottom side, which meant one of their supports could continue to keep stacking. Well, Radiant, they couldn't do that. You had 2 of your supports down bot. I mean, your position 3 is not going to waste his time to go stack. So Sven can catch back up. All he really needs is levels, and we saw he didn't die in the lane, and that's one of the big things on how you can calibrate on how a carry is farming with that natural GPM. And the fact that they just now could revitalize him with taking a fat stack away. I mean, now he's second in net worth, so that's kind of a big thing to have an aggressive tri lane for Dire.
Yeah, rocket straight back up. His farming potential as well as fighting potential is going to be boosted by the Echo Saber now coming out to him. And,
dude, not another hook. Borax! See why you give this man the Pudge? I mean, he's not messing around at all.
To be fair, you do have some, I don't want to say easy setups for it, but, the Storm Hammer, you've got the Vortex, you've got the Sinister Gaze, you've got the Shackle Shot, so there's plenty of stuff that's going to enable a bit of an easier throwing out of the hook. That's the big difference that you see from, some of these competitive Pudge players. Oh, Baku.
So close to level 6.
Level 6, yeah.
Like, guys, just give me some love, give me something. I just... So this is like... Now, because we're continuing to see, we've really only seen one shot. Oh, okay, well, there's another way to set up the hook, and more flesh hip stacks for Borax. So we have seen now a couple times where this Earthshaker has really not performed at a solid level. Is this just highlighting his weaknesses that, like, he's incredibly greedy? Like, he's not a good laner, and it feels like if you die a couple times, then you've got nowhere to farm on the map. And without a blink, I mean, this hero really feels like he doesn't do a lot.
No, and I mean, that is one of the big weaknesses, right? You can just split around. You don't want to be spending gold as well on the Earthshaker from having to buy TPs constantly to protect your cores. You want to try and park yourself in a lane for as long as possible. You want the lanes to have gone well so that you can make these rotations. For example, with the offlaner, give the lane over to the Earthshaker, at least until you're able to pick up that first key item. They're even taking away some of the stacks here with White Album.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Something I didn't even realize with the Lich as well. You're going to be having the Sinister Gaze with a mana drain. So if you can get that onto the Deucer, you're dealing a fair chunk of damage just from one single spell.
Oh yeah. How does a mana drain work? Is it instant, or does it have to be the full duration of the Sinister Gaze?
It's the full duration.
Okay.
It's still a lot, though.
Yeah, 25%.
Dire's structures are fortified.
It does have an 18-second cooldown.
I want to see that Ags Rush Lanham. I want to see it.
Okay, so...
That's exact.
No point in Flesh Shape just yet. I thought he did have one before on Borax, but... He's 3-1 and 8. Like, he's played an incredible Pudge game, and Aster in general are just playing pretty flawlessly, honestly. I mean, only 5 deaths. But
the lane should have gone a lot better for Aster.Aries. I mean, they had an Undying. They had... I mean, Earthshaker's not great, but if you've got 3 heroes to hit with a Fissure, it's not terrible,
And now, I mean, we're seeing... This Echo Saber feels great and all from the starter, but how do you make plays to get back in this game? Like, I wonder if they He was kind of kicking himself right now, feeling like he was able to go the greedy route and get Echo and Blink before they fell this far behind.
I mean, who do you catch, honestly, right? Like, you can have an Earthshaker that lands a Fissure onto a Storm, but then you've got no follow-up after that. You know, Storm's just going to make sure that he stays absolutely nowhere near any kind of Slardar engagements. They just straight up don't have a follow-up. Like, they've got no stuns on anyone other than Earthshaker and Slardar. So, until those Blink Daggers are online for both of these heroes, you're just not concerned at all.
Just continuing to have free roam of the map. I mean, it feels like it's all on the Deucer right now. Who Ulu does have Manta, is working actually straight on an MKB as the next item. So, trying to itemize to deal with your position 3 Wind Ranger.
I mean, I guess you can't just allow the Wind Ranger to have free reign, but it does feel a little, what's the right word? One note, too focused.
Oh, Borax?
Nah. He was, oh, Lamb's just caught in a bit of an unfortunate position here.
Jesus, that's a lot.
Standing there. What you doing, buddy? There we go. Whoops.
We've got Monet just in case. Because all the boys have shown up.
And it's not a Tranquil Boots Lich as well, so this is actually going to push him all the way back to the base potentially after he picks up that rune.
Baku? The zombie stopped the hook. At least White Album though gets involved. He doesn't pick up the regen, which is why he had that long zip, so he himself is also in a bit of a tricky spot mana-wise. Well, maybe with this Orchid now, for the Queen of Pain, we might see her start to kind of get involved here and help defend this tier 1 tower. They don't have Tombstone there, which is a big ability for a team fight here that's about to break out. Monet falling really low. Another great hook shot, but Phoenix is able to follow up. The BKB answered afterwards will prevent any more extra damage to bring down Monet.
Even if giving him over one of his spare health potions there was Lanham, very nicely done. And of course, he's got the Mask of Madness, so he's going to be able to use the God Strength to be able to lifesteal back up off of the Ancient Camp. It's just about to respawn again. So again, Monet just making the most of his timings at all times.
Okay, I love this. Dire not aware at all. This is a great maneuver. And this is
Taking
what...
notes from game 1.
Yeah. This is what your Slardar enables you. 2 points Corrosive Haze, 15 minus armor, and that gives you... I mean... They're still 6,000 gold down, but if you're going to potentially come back in a game like this, they're the small steps that you have to take.
Yes, they are. And what it also does is, you know, it dissuades Aster a little bit. You might think, okay, we can go as 5 and start to push in, not without God Strength normally, but now the fact that they also have to contend with an Aegis on top of that, they're going to be feeling a little bit more scared. And that's going to give the time for both the Earthshaker and the Slardar to have their Blink Daggers available. So much more capable of fighting right now. Might want to wait for the 50 seconds for the Phoenix, for Phoenix to have Sonic Wave again, but I could understand if they didn't. You know, you can just continue to push forward with basically every other cooldown available.
And XXS he's already got the Aghanim, so multiple charges in the win run. They are not going to be easy to kill at all. And Borax has gone for his first point in the Flesh Heap, so he's gained all those charges from the kills previously. I mean, he's 1,600 health. Like, it's a ridiculous amount.
This tier 2.
Radiant.
Why not? The TP's right in on top of
They have the outpost
Lanham.
Control, so they won't need the tier 2 to TP 2, but Monet able to get the BKB off that shackle from XXS, stopping the chain control, the power shot as well, just the icing on the cake. And meanwhile, to the northern side, Borax is just going to try and solo down Siamese Cat, and look at all this tank ability that he's got. An extra charge in the Flesh Heap, and now Ulu, burnt out of mana, burnt out of his health as well. He's at least got the second life, but another hook from Borax drags back Phoenix. He's able to get the Blink back to safety, but maybe this is just space to try and target down the Medusa, as once again, Ulu will end up falling. That's a feeling
TP
yourself
was
for.
Not it. I mean, he just TP'd right in front of their faces and gave them all the information they could have possibly needed. It was just slow decision-making, wanting to be a little bit greedy, I suppose, with the Queen of Pain in particular not having the ultimate. Maybe they thought, well, we can't take this fight just yet, but I felt like they were still in a position to try and make something happen. With that unknown Blink Dagger reveal coming through from both the Slardar and the Earthshaker, you could have potentially gone for something. Maybe they can get Monet on the turnaround here.
They've got Sonic Wave. That burst is going to be required here. Or maybe not with Baku showing up. Okay, that's a nice pick off Defiant. We never really felt like these past couple of games like Aster.Aries have been able to find these pickoffs and, you know, catching out the brothers in Aster. It really feels like they've been incredibly disciplined. I mean, Slato, he's trying to jump a Wind Ranger. Beautiful thing about the evasion that, you know, Slato is a hero that very much relies on your right clicks, and now the Queen of Pain as well will at least being able to get out to safety because of the use of the Echo Slam, but that's your ultimate use just to try and keep Phoenix alive. And wait, he's saying Todd? Phoenix? Huh.
Siamese Cat, I don't know about this. You're kind of standing in the middle of 4 heroes here, and that's a dieback.
Dude, Pudge's got 2k health.
Yeah, I mean, he only just recently leveled up a point in the Flesh Heap, where previously he'd held it. I think he might have got it at level 11. So he's certainly looking to take a lot of the advantage of those early kills that he was able to be a part of. 4, 1, and 10 on Borax. I would have to say next he's going into the Ag Shard, surely.
Alright, so we're all banking on the fact that this Dusa, it's got to be the raid boss that we have seen potentially from some of the Medusas, but is this game one of those? Can you see the writing on the wall for maybe Dusa to kind of win them this game?
I think XXS is just going to be too much to deal with, and, you know, even if you are looking to get very tanky, you might be putting Sven in a bit of a rough spot. I still feel like the Pudge, with how tanky he is, with how much Flesh Heap stacks he's been able to build up for himself, once that shard comes out, he's actually even going a BKB. The only way that they have to disrupt that is the Bash of the Deep, so as long as he stays away from the Slardar, he should be just fine.
Smoke on smoke here. Both teams going to go in the opposite direction, but Phoenix will show mid, so they have to stick around on Aster.Aries just in case Die double back for this kill, but looks like Aster is still looking to swing up top. They wanted to kill into the tier 1 tower. Unfortunately for them, they're going to find it, so they'll have to just show themselves and end up trying just to take the tower without a kill.
Funnily enough, he did still go for the undispellable win run. There's nothing really that can get rid of it right now. Maybe just playing for the super late game, which, you know, you're against a Dusa. Makes sense.
Another smoke on Radiant too. Quap is gonna show in the lane. Jump straight on top of Mene, but you see the Frost Shield. How much damage mitigation that can be, and then a hook shot as well. So that's your Stone Gaze now wasted. And Aster.Aries have to reposition. I mean, they've already dropped the Tombstone as well, so they can't really fight without it, it feels like. Die, if they just want to look to reset, wait till this Tombstone expires, and then they can go back in. They've kited Aster.Aries so far away, Baku. Great Echo Slam, but once again, no, the hook shot doesn't drag Monet. He's still going to be able to stand his ground and turn with the BKB protection and the Frost Shield. Phoenix jumps to back. They're targeting down the Slardar with ease as XXS is able to win run back to safety. Now the lack of control without the Slardar and the Earthshaker means that Aster can get themselves out.
I don't think Lanham can consider turning around. He was looking at him, just giving him the bit of the death stare on the way out. But, I mean, the fact that they were able to kill the Slardar, very important. Was that... I feel like that was a blind Blink Echo coming through there from Baku onto the Sven. If so, fantastic work. And, well, they synergized quite well, combining together with a Flesh Golem as well for that amplified damage in onto everyone that they needed to be able to take him down. Unfortunately, the BKB coming out a little too late. The Borax meat hook just a tiny bit too short. Oh, he's behind a creep again. Nice hook though.
This is when you really see Pudge be like, feel like, I don't say broken because I know he's not broken. I don't, maybe like conceptually
Finally
broken in a way. Yeah, sure, but like just when a really good Pudge player can utilize the friendly hook as well and reposition them. Like, it's a crazy reposition. And we've seen it multiple times keep his friendlies alive through what you would kind of expect for them not to be able to survive that. And I don't know if that's just worded as like conceptually broken or how you'd word that, but like when you really see a good Pudge player, it's like a treat to watch because they don't just use it aggressively. It just makes sure like the game is almost almost unrecoverable because you can never get kills with how they position.
We're building up into his level 15 as well, so that meat hook's going to continue to build up unless he decides to go into the lifesteal. I mean, you're eventually building up into the BKB, so you'll be lifestealing a lot with the rot ticking, so you're not actually taking the damage yourself.
Poor old Siamese cat. Never feels like you can D-ward without having multiple heroes jump you, especially with an arcane rune on Storm. So unfortunately for them, Roshan, I mean, it's going to be up in another minute 50 here. Might look to pounce on another hero though.
Titan's never quite nice. I think Storm actually sent it all the way back to base, which is a little surprising considering this Fem was still holding onto the Ring of Aquila. Getting close to that Silver Edge as well. Going to be nice if they're able to get in onto the likes of a Slada, able to man fight a little bit more. Not have to worry about that Bash of the Deep.
Dude, this ward on Dire. Such a treat to watch some of the high-level teams and how they place these wards. I believe they saw Phoenix before that smoke came out, so, I mean, Aster, Scan also just confirming it too. They do have...
DD bot, no one's aware of it just yet.
Ward, who do they see? It is XXS jump. Even committing the Echo Slam and the Sonic Wave. A lot of hate here for XXS, and well, they bring him down, but that is a heavy commitment with 3 ultimates used. Now they're going to target down Monet. Able to find Ulu. The break is there as well, so it's at least going to get rid of the split. And now, and it's a 1-for-1. And looking like all she wrote again. Radiant, they're still sticking by though.
They can just back off. I mean, if you're Aster, you got to get away from that high ground. You don't have vision. You know the tombstone's up there. They're going to smoke up. It was just out of range of the vision. So might catch them by surprise here with the remnants of the double damage.
Another zip in. Guess who they found? Undying again. Where he was previously looking at D-Ward and Manate. He doesn't have too much longer of the God Strength. They're ever going to buy back on Siamese Cat. So this will force the side of Aster to look to reset. Radiant had pretty good vision around the route that they're looking to double back on here from Aster. And even blocking off the path. Oh, okay, never mind. Slither on through. It's a choppy podge. Sometimes that's hard to fit through there, the gap.
We don't fat shame here on Beyond the Summit.
No, just saying he's a big boy. He's got a lot of flesh heap charges. 2800 health, sorry. Yeah, it's not easy to kill.
Well, we've got a Roche attempt. This is the second one with being able to pick up that Aegis. How close is Dusa? Is she going to go for an Ags build? I feel like it might actually be worth it.
1-8. You need Borax to help him out. Monate's actually just going to turn and kill off the Earthshaker. Now they've got the Dismember as well to lock in Slaughter. And with all the use of the chain control, they're just getting picked off left, right, and center. And now Aster, they'll leave the Medusa till last and not even care about the Roshan. And they've had enough.
Oh, they're calling it.
Oh, they want to tap out here very early on, 30 minutes in. And, well, the big brother's just another dismantling.
I thought XXS was outside of that first attempt on the Slaughter that just didn't result in nothing. It was like he was firing Nerf arrows at the big slithery boy. It was a foregone conclusion. Like 8-32 with the way that the tri-lane went. If you've got an Undying, it needs to go a whole lot better than that. And the Lich supremacy continues. As, yeah, my boy is... hopefully he doesn't do too well, you know?
You don't want him to get nerfed. Yeah, it's understandable. I get it. He looked very strong from Lenham. You know, maybe through the extra group stages, potential playoffs as well. We'll see the Lich a little bit more. Maybe even Team Aster might be able to pull out the might even be able to pull out the Pudge again as well. Who knows?
You never know.
I mean, with how they're able to perform, I mean, it was a really solid showing. Of course, this is against, you know, the academy team, and Aster are on top of the table as well. So they just look like a masterclass, though. A beautiful 2-0 performance from them, and really, they were never kind of at a stage where they felt really pressured.
No, I don't think so either. I feel like it was just good team play coming out. You weren't throwing out random hooks there on Borax. It was either to save someone that was stunned, so you know they're locked in place, or it was following up from a Sinister Gaze, a Shackle Shot, an Electric Vortex. White Album, again, showing a fantastic performance in that mid lane, not dying with what should be a disadvantageous matchup. So I think just some good individual plays across the board. Can't really fault too much about the way that Aster went about it. There were some, cool little plays like Aster.Aries being able to take that first Roche right underneath their noses, but other than that, seemed like Team Aster all the way.
And well, that's only our second series done and dusted for the night. We've got a long 3-series day. As next up, it'll be Magma versus Team Elephant. So the 5th versus 6th place. And in fact, Magma, they're actually currently ahead of Elephant. So the TI representatives looking for a little jump up in the group stages. It might be another long break considering this one is supposed to be starting on the hour. So we'll keep you guys updated on when our last series will be starting. But the last one is going to be Elephant versus Magma. Don't go anywhere. It'll be another cracker series.